classic movie fans, Rick Nineg here. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the Marx Brothers, more specifically about Chico Marx and all the wonderful information that you probably did not know about him. Now, I want to tell you right here that I'm going to reveal a lot of stuff about Chico Marx, and some of it may be favorable, funny, interesting. Some of it maybe could be seen in a negative light in terms of we're going to talk about his humanity, his ups and his downs. So this is by no means anything to make him look bad. It's just to make us understand who he was as a person, that he was human just like us with his faults, addictions, and so forth. And we just want to focus on just some cool, interesting facts as fans. So Leonard Chico Marx, as he was known, his birth name being Leonard, he was born March 22nd, 1887. But that's something he didn't really want you to know. Why? Well, when he was alive, he claimed to have been born in 1891, not 1887. So a lot of news outlets and people reported falsely that when he passed away, he only lived to the age of 70, rather than the age of 74, which is the age that he actually lived to. Now, if you noticed in this video, you might have heard me say his name as Chico. Now, I've even made the mistake before and used to call him Chico. I'll tell you why maybe half of you out there have been saying his name wrong the entire time. And it's not really your fault. It's just some nuances here regarding his name. Now, the origins of Chico's name is really interesting. And that's because it is unlike the common Spanish name of the same spelling, pronounced Chico. It's meant to be pronounced Chico. Why is that? Well, he was really interested in women, and lots of them. So just like you would say chicks, it was meant to say chick-o. So there we go. We get Chico, and that was a nickname that was given to him, and he did go by it. So it's one of the great things that we're able to talk about it here. Everyone knows Chico had amazing piano skills. But one of the things that you may not know is that he did not like to practice his piano in terms of pieces that would appear in movies. He knew them so well, and so in his eyes, why should I even practice them? Well, if you look at A Day at the Races, it's a 1937 wonderful film by the Marx Brothers, you can see in a little clip here how Chico subtly jumps in surprise as a flute solo comes in during his piano song. Now that was obviously planned, but because he didn't practice, he didn't rehearse this piano scene, his jumping and his surprise was genuine. This is according to his nephew, who said that this reaction was real. He never rehearsed the song before filming the scene, and he didn't know that flute would come in, so he jumped and they left it into the movie. It's really interesting to know that you can call this a blooper, but you can just call this such a genuine moment. Now, unfortunately, we all have vices, addictions, things like that, and Chico was someone who had a bit of a gambling problem. Now, that is definitely unfortunate. But in regards to the movie A Day at the Races, his habit reared its ugly head in a very, very strange situation. Now, Chico realized that a horse with the same name as a horse in the film was running in real life. He could not resist to place a bet on this horse in real life. Unfortunately, no one had the guts to tell him that, according to the film script, the horse in question lost the race. I'll talk a little bit about him in regards to gambling, but I want to let you know that he bet on everything and everything. I found this fascinating because I had no idea about this. Now, the horse race incident that I just discussed was really strange, but this is even more strange. Like some people who have this gambling need, they gamble with things like cards, pool, races, but not Marx. He would do all of those and include betting money on things that are very minor and super unpredictable, like what letters would appear on a license plate of a passing car, or even what direction raindrops would fall in during a rainstorm. Could you even imagine that? Now let's get a little off that topic and talk a little bit about his brothers. Now, despite looking nothing alike in terms of their costumes, in regards to the Marx Brothers, Chico and Harpo looked very similar in real life if these costumes came off. So much so that people often confuse them. This isn't surprising. You could see it in Duck Soup during the mirror scene. I mean, they looked super identical when they're wearing the Groucho makeup. But Chico used this to his advantage, the fact that he did look like Harpo. He, in fact, impersonated Harpo for both good and bad reasons. This actually prevented Harpo from being able to get jobs in the future, since places that had bad experiences with Chico would assume that they were the same person. Now, Chico successfully impersonated Harpo in this TV appearance, and the audience never realized who it really was. Now, who did it actually fool as well? None other than their brother Groucho. And finally, the 1941 film The Big Store. The Marx Brothers planned this on being their last film and retiring after completing this. And they even advertised the film as their big farewell. I mean, the big store, right? Well, nevertheless, Chico's issue with gambling unfortunately brought him to a place where he really needed money. So to help their brother out, the entire team, all the brothers, got back together in 1946 and made a film, one that I really absolutely love. It's called A Night in Casablanca, only for the benefit of Chico's bank account. Now, he was the older brother, and I wanted to end with this because it's such a nice and wonderful gesture. I mean, they loved acting, they loved what they did anyway. They thought it would be their swan song, but they came out of retirement to help their brother and, of course, just to make his life a little better. I am so happy that they were so united as brothers and did so many good things for one another. Again, I just wanted to bring a little more humanity to Chico. I wanted to learn more about him and hopefully teach you a little bit about him. Let me know if you knew any of these, if any of these were surprising. Maybe you knew some, maybe you didn't. Let me know in the comments down below. What are some that I may have missed and maybe I can cover in a future video? I've talked about Harpo Marx and why he doesn't speak. I've talked about Groucho and why he even wears his signature painted on mustache and so forth. Check those in my Marx Brothers playlist. You can just look up Rick 9G Marx Brothers playlist and you should be able to find it. Thank you so much for the support. As always, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 140,000 subscribers. I'm so happy to see that come true. We'll see you next time, and don't forget, be hopeful. Thank you so much to my supporters on Patreon, especially my Diamond tier patrons. New patron Gerard D, David D, Citizen Kane 359, Greg S, Kevin K, Ricky, Sally, and Vito L. Make sure to check the links in the description to see how you could be on this list as well.